My name is Zimbrova Victoria, and today I want to discuss how education in Russia is influenced by privilege despite on the concept of meritocracy. So today's topic is the role of privilege in Russian education. There is a common belief that education is the key to success regardless of one's background. In theory, this means that your achievements and results should depend solely on your hard work and talent. But in my personal experience as a student in Russia shows that social and cultural background still play a role in educational opportunities and success. Now let's talk about cultural capital in Russian schools. Let's start with the concept of cultural capital, originally developed by French sociologist Pierre Bourdieu. He argued that success in education isn't just about intelligence or effort, it's also about the cultural background you bring with you. This includes your language, habits, tastes, and how you interact with authority figures. Alice Sullivan found that children from middle-class families are more likely to read complex books at home, speak in more formal or academic ways, and experience other things that directly or indirectly help with school success. Teachers recognize these behaviors as signs of intelligence or potential. Now, let's apply this to Russia. In my experience, this theory plays out very clearly. For example, I am from a small city and studied in the regular school. Once our class joined a new student from Moscow. She was from a well-educated and wealthy family. From a young age, she went to art galleries, museums, had private tutors, and overall had a broader educational experience. At our school, this girl always seemed to have the right answers, not just because she studied hard, but because she already spoke the language of the school. On the other hand, I also had a classmate who was coming to classes from the small village in Buryatia. His parents didn't have time to help with homework. They didn't speak formal Russian at home because their Russian was mixed with Buryat language. They couldn't afford a lot of books or a computer. He was bright and curious, but when he spoke in class, teachers often corrected his grammar or told him he wasn't serious enough. This kind of response from teachers can make students like this feel embarrassed or like they don't belong in academic spaces. And over time, that affects confidence and academic performance. So when Sullivan says students with more cultural capital do better academically, I've seen that in real life. Not because wealthier students are smarter, but because their background matches what the school rewards, while others have to work not only to learn the material, but also to learn how to perform the right kind of student. Now, let's talk about privilege, like the starting line isn't equal. The BuzzFeed video, What is Privilege, uses a race metaphor. Some people start ahead without realizing it. That metaphor fits so well with education in Russia. We have entrance exams that are supposed to be fair, but in reality, wealthy students go to special prep schools and pay for courses. When I applied to university, I studied alone because my parents couldn't afford tutors. In my small town, there weren't a lot of opportunities to get special courses by professional teachers. But already in the university, I heard so many stories that students from big cities had parents who paid for preparation schools or gave up a summer to fly them to exam centers with better reputation. So while the system looks equal, like everyone takes the same tests, the resources behind students are not equal. is Diane writes, policy changes that open education often just shift inequality around instead of removing it. That's exactly what's happening in Russia. This brings me to Bourdieu and Rie's concept of cultural reproduction. Schools say they reward effort or intelligence, but in reality, they often reproduce the social class system. For example, in my university in St. Petersburg, students from wealthier or more Russian families were automatically chosen for competitions or Olympiads, which give you the bonuses for future careers. I was once told, "Where are you from? You speak good Russian. You are from Russia? You don't look like one." This connects to Kojunte's article on racialized privilege in Korea. While Russia isn't the same, there is a Russian first cultural hierarchy, and ethnic minorities like Buryats often feel like lesser Russians. So when we talk about cultural capital, it's not just class. It's also ethnicity, language, and who gets seen as normal or elite. So to wrap up, the Russian education system, like many others, claims to be a meritocracy, but it's heavily shaped by privilege, cultural capital, and systemic inequality. Through my own experience, I saw firsthand how school rewarded certain students over others, not for effort, but for fitting a hidden mold. As Durkheim suggested, education reflects the structure of society. And in Russia, that structure still strongly favors the privileged, even while claiming to be equal. Thank you for your attention.